there's an expression, kind of an older expression. It was kind of around in my generation, and I don't know if people are still using it in today's generation, but it was basically an insult. When somebody was being an idiot or acting just unintelligent, somebody else would say to them, "Oh, you must have eaten a lot of paint chips as a kid." Now, if you're hearing that for the first time, you might be like, "Paint chips as a kid? What are you talking about?" And that's because it's not really an issue anymore. But apparently back in the day, paint was made with lead, and kids, I guess, must have picked off little paint chips from the wall and eaten them. And so it's not the paint. I'm sure eating paint, even modern paint without lead, isn't good for you. But back in the day when it had lead, it was the lead in the paint gave you lead poisoning. Now, lead poisoning doesn't necessarily kill you. It probably kills brain cells, but it generally affects your IQ and your development of your brain. So it's really affects developing kids. Kind of the younger they are, the more it affects them, and the older you get, it doesn't affect you as much. However, it still affects you through all stages of life. Lead poisoning is never good. It's never good for your brain. So, why am I talking about that? It's a good question. Well, because when you shoot guns, even if you don't come directly in contact with lead, if you're not like throwing lead in your mouth and eating bullets for breakfast or anything like that, you're still coming in contact with lead. So when you shoot a gun, the gases shoot little lead particles all over you, and they're these tiny little microscopic particles, and they get on you. They get on your hands, they get on your face, they get everywhere. But we're going to be concerned about the ones that get onto your hands, the things that we can do stuff about. Aside from wearing a respirator when you're going shooting, you're going to be exposed to some levels of lead. But we want to limit that as much as possible. So after you're shooting, you might think, hey, I can just wash my hands, right? Well, no, wrong. You can get dirt and germs off your hands, but you can't get lead off your hands with standard soap or wet wipes. You know, I'm big on wet wipes. So it leads me to a product. And what kind of led me to this product was, and Jill might be mad at me for saying this. I don't know if it's supposed to be like more of a secret or anything, but I'll just say it because you guys are like family, right? So we're thinking about, well, we're not thinking about, we've decided that we're going to start trying to have some children. And with that, I did my due diligence as a parent to find out all of the dangers involved in having a child. Well, not in having a child, but the dangers that the children can get into. And one of those was I had always heard about lead poisoning and shooting and never really cared about it. So I started doing a little research about lead poisoning and found out it is extremely dangerous for kids. And I was like, oh, that's okay. You know, I don't shoot. I'm not going to take my toddler out shooting with me to get like lead dust all over them. But the thing is, it gets on your hands, it transfers to your steering wheel, your doorknob. You get home, you pick up your kid, hi. Your finger gets in his mouth, boom, lead all over him. So the ways to remedy this is products like Leadoff. Now, people kind of accuse me of, not that often, very rarely, but sometimes people accuse me of doing sponsored posts. I just want you to know I've never gotten paid a cent for any of my videos. Not saying I won't. If you got a product that you think looks good and you want to pay me to do a video about it, I'll take your money. I won't necessarily say what's good or what's bad. I'll be real and honest like I always am. But anyways, they didn't pay me. But I did reach out to them to get some information, find out about their products, see if it was the best on the market, yada, yada, yada. And they were very helpful. Congratulations for having a kid. Yeah, we'll get you some info. We'll get you some product out to test. And it was great. I like it. It's basically just like wet wipes, smell good and clean just as good as wet wipes, but they get the lead particles off. And I'll show some pictures up here. You can pause it and read them. And they're kind of like a breakdown of why it works, how it works, what is different than soap. So soap doesn't get the lead off. Leadoff gets the lead off. And it was actually developed by the CDC. The CDC invented this stuff and they licensed it to Hygenall to sell. So it comes in a few different things. This is kind of my favorite thing right here. So I kind of initially thought it was expensive. It's $10. But I'm kind of a cheapskate, I guess. Kind of thought it was expensive. Like, oh, $10, man, that's more expensive than wet wipes are. So it kind of turned me off to the product. But then I was like, $10, please. There's 45 wipes in here. If you shoot basically every weekend, and use a wipe after you're shooting, this will last you a year. So for $10, lasts you a year. They also sell these in these little individually wrapped packets. They're a little more expensive per wipe, as you can imagine, but maybe more convenient for you. And they also sell this, well, actually they sell a handful more products I don't have, but they sell a foaming hand soap. These are the ones I'm most interested in, and it's really good. Foams up. I love foaming soap. I'm kind of a clean freak, so I have wet wipes everywhere, and I'm kind of worried about germs. I mean, not like not like a crazy level, but I don't like dirty hands. So these are great, but I don't use them all the time, so they're gonna last. I still use wet wipes for germs, and then I use this for shooting. The only main time I'm exposed to lead. So if you're concerned about your IQ, your brain, like I am, I don't want my IQ to go down at all. I'm a web developer. My brain is my job. I solve problems. I write code all day long. That's what I do. It's probably why my eyes are red in some videos, because I'm just staring at a computer monitor all day. So my brain can't get damaged. And my kids, if their brains get damaged, that'll be the worst thing. I'll be so sad if they're not smart like mommy and daddy. So it's important for me. And it's going to be more important for me when I have some kids. So if you have kids, it's important. And the reason I'm kind of talking about this isn't because these products are so cool and so sexy and you need some. It's more of a public service announcement, especially if you're a new shooter, if you're getting into shooting and especially if you have small kids, it's a product worth looking into, because you don't want them to get lead poisoning. And you could be poisoning your family every time you go shooting without even knowing it. And it kind of builds up over time. Exposure to lead more and more and more and more builds up. So you want to limit that exposure as much as you can. And you want to do it in practical, affordable ways. So after you go shooting, I mean, if you shoot outside like me, you don't have access to water in a sink. If you're at an indoor range, some ranges actually have this, and you wash your hands with it after, great. But just do a wipe. So I like to do it before I get back into my car, because I don't like transferring my lead to my handles, to my steering wheel, all that stuff, because it transfers on contact. So anyways, this is more of a public service announcement. I'll put links on where to get this stuff, as I always do, down in the description, the video description below. And all right, I don't know if you noticed, but I have I just bought this new light mechanism, a light ring. I could link to it too if you care about the light ring, if you think this is a good look on me. I don't know if I'll keep it or not. I'm kind of looking at myself in the screen, seeing how I look, because I don't know, maybe it's too like high fashion or vlogger style or whatever. But if you like the light, this is a stupid question to ask, but if you like the light, let me know in the description. If you think it sucks and I look like a woman or something, more so than usual, let me know that the light sucks in the description, and maybe I'll transfer back to something else. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing this. Share this with a fellow shooter, so they know about the fears of the dangers of lead poisoning. Thanks to Leadoff for sending this product out. Maybe next time you could send me some money. No, I'm just kidding. And then again, just feel free to click the links in the description below if you're interested in purchasing them. I get them from Amazon just because Amazon Prime is my life. All right. Take care.